And officially, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Options Income Launchpad Tuesday opening bell. My name is Scott. I will be your host. As always, keep in mind that what we do is for education and illustrative purposes only. What we do or say should not be considered or construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security or financial product. We're not brokers or advisors. Therefore, we do not give anything that should be considered personalized investment advice. Any investment decisions should be done so at your own risk, yada, yada, yada. Okay. You see the rest of it there. Those of you joining, good morning. What are we going to do today? Let's go look at the opening futures. And it does look like we're gonna switch, maybe even starting next week, to a 9:30 a.m. So we're gonna miss the first 15, the pre-market. One aspect. Good morning, Doug. Good to see you. One aspect of the first 15 that I always liked and that I always found people appreciated, that obviously is going to be cut out, is when we had ugly openings. So I'm trying to think of like what would be the right, if there's anything we can do. We may just, that might be the sacrifice. The sacrifice is that we will lose the ability to chat about ugly openings where we say, hey, if you have a stop on, you may want to take that off. You may want to wait until the first 20 minutes and then either put it back on or look to work your way out of the trade or whatever else may be. Good morning, Stephen D. Good to see you. Thank you. So my thought was, well, I do send out like 5 minutes before we start a little note. And I could put in there, hey, blah, blah, blah. The futures are ugly. Be careful. I don't know. Would that be useful if we do that? Does anyone read those when they come? Doug says yes. Okay. If it would be useful, we'll try that. That if there is any kind of a pre-market reminder, it'll come in that. But I do think we're going to, I'm not 100% sure. It is coming soon. It may not be next week, but it's coming soon. Yeah. So, the, any notices are helpful. Okay, good, Craig. This is the feedback I'm looking for. All right, so today we're going to do opening futures and news, which we still have the ability to do. Well, and that's the other thing too, Bob C, is I try to start and then we kind of sit, but like I did today, we're going to try to just like start at the top. Within 2 minutes, we're hitting it. We're trying to tighten up a few things. The economic calendar and posture, we're going to take a quick, gander. Mindset for open trades. Let's look at the opening range. What does that mean for us? And early week opportunity list review. Remember, this week there is no trading plan section. There is only evaluation and assessment so that you have a current score. So if you haven't done that, do that. Right? If you haven't spent time assessing and scoring each of the 8 sections so that you can then prioritize which ones you're going to be working on, that's what you should be working on with your trading plan. All right, let's get into it. Silver paired some losses. Yeah. It is interesting. Silver. S&P futures are down 0.06, Dow 0.02, NASDAQ 0.12, Russell up 0.04. So I would say flat, essentially. Gold is up 1.3%. Bitcoin, well, any Bitcoin or not necessarily Bitcoin, Ethereum, any crypto speculation, any crypto traders in the group? Out of curiosity, I'm always curious. Doug is a yes. Kent is a yes. Would you guys say you're traders or hodlers? And you guys might be asking yourself, what is a hodler? Buy and hold XRP, some Ripple. Got it. Hodlers is HODL, hold on for dear life. Trader use 3 comma. Oh, okay. Yeah. 3 comma is for 3 comma is for like automated bot style trading. Is that right? I believe. Yes. Okay. All right. Very cool, you guys. I'm glad to know. A couple of other things now that we've got a full crew here as we're looking at what's going on. We want to try to see what we can do to help do more trading. But the problem with that is it's very, very delicate in it as an ecosystem in trading to not overtrade. If it's a swing trade, it's very hard to confirm. If it confirmed the day before, well, then any time that day is fine. But if it's the first day of confirmation, that's not going to be confirmed in the first hour of the market. You're looking at a daily candle. So if you're looking in the first hour, you're looking at the first hour of 6.5 hours that's going to go into that candle. And what I mean by that, and we've seen this happen, is that you might look the first hour in and say, oh, look, this looks good. And then later that day in the afternoon, if it goes into a sell-off, that signal is invalidated by the end of the day. And in fact, it was never actually valid to begin with, right? If you're day trading and you're using 5-minute candles, yeah, you just have to wait every 5 minutes. Candle. But the first minute of the candle is not valid. It's not valid until the end of the candle. It's the same concept. So, how do we do that? That's what we're thinking about. So the question is, A, do we do more day trading to add to the mix? And we're not going to do, it's not like we're going to be like, oh, now we're day traders. But just, is that something that there's enough interest in that if we did say, oh, here's a setup, maybe we look at that. B, do we do more continuation momentum trading where it's 2 to 3 days? You're not trying to pick up 3 to 1s. You're just trying to catch a little bit of, momentum. In fact, you might even look at them as 1 to 1, 1.5 to 1, but you're trying to be right more often. That's another possibility. That's B. C is more potential non-directional trading, which would be things like volatility trading and time trading. Calendar spreads is a big one. Butterflies, iron condors, and possibly even things like diagonal spreads. So there's a few different possibilities. Doug said, why not both? Well, remember that every one of those requires its own philosophy, requires a good foundational understanding. Doug said, don't understand those. Well, yeah, right? Some people might say, I don't have time for day trading. I don't understand those. I don't. So it's like, what's good for us to introduce and trade and show? Because the thing with swing trading, which is what our alerts tend to be, is we all know it tends to be a little bit of feast or famine. We get signals for a couple of days and then that's it. 85% of the mark tracks with the S&P. We typically have 2 to 3 day windows, right? The options. I get it, Doug. No, I understood what you meant. But even if we looked at things like, let's say, a continuation momentum trade, it's got different rules, different criteria, different management mindset. So if that starts coming, does that help? Or does that just kind of like make you feel like, oh, well, I've got 3 different things and now I'm starting to not really know which I should do? Feedback is what I'm looking for from you guys. If you want to send me a message, if you want to send me an email, if you want to just put your perspective into the chat on Circle, any of that's fine. But hey, if we were to do more in a helpful way, what are you looking for? And again, I'm just kind of planting that, putting it out there. Okay, what else do we have? U.S. tariffs are at 80-year highs, and they're here to stay. Melody says more spreads, so getting into those more advanced spreads, I would assume. Now, one thing I would say is that we do have... there's the bell. We do have a comprehensive options education course where if you want to learn about advanced spreads, there's some content there for you to dive into. Teach us the attributes to know what techniques the market presents to us. Okay. Which goes back to reading charts, and that's good. But, some of the feedback we've gotten is, can we do more trading? And it's like, well, yeah, we can. We just have to be very, very careful not to verge into over trading or trading for the sake of trading, right? Because it's like, well, we're in a group, we want to trade. And it's like, well, we want to make sure we follow our rules first and foremost. It's a delicate balance, but what I want you to know is we're working towards finding a way that we can improve it. So if you have a thought on how, send it my way. Okay. Stock futures are steady with Fed minutes on deck. Let's take a quick peek. Should you read charts and interpret those by other info? So you're saying more and different types of technical analysis. I would say yes, we can do that, but I would reserve that more for the Tuesday, Thursday Q&As. During market hours, you guys hopefully notice that as a technician, I am 90% price action. The indicators we use are sort of the last piece, and you do want to find indicators you can trust, indicators that are consistent, indicators that turn when you want them to turn, as much as possible. But I really focus more on price, less on, some of the fancier indicators personally. But I'm happy to explore some different technical concepts in the evenings. But helpful. I'm glad you guys are kind of spitting out some suggestions. It's super helpful. Okay, Monday we had pending home sales up a little bit. That was good. Better beat the forecast. This morning we got home prices are up 1.3, which is better than 1.1 forecasted. Okay, I mean, it's good to know that there's stability. Nobody really cares about real estate right now. There are times where real estate is super important to the market, and we're like watching that, but not now. More vol is good for covered calls for high premiums. Yeah, covered calls, naked puts, bull put spreads, butterflies, iron condors. Those are all strategies that benefit from high implied volatility. As option buyers, and hopefully you guys notice this in the trade alerts. Speaking of which, the Walmart trade did come to fruition. Did anyone pull the trigger? Is anyone pulling the trigger? Let me know. But you'll notice here, this is very much oriented around swing trading. I'm catching it as it bounces off support, and I can put my stop just below support. I am putting my stop, and Don was already looking at it on his own. Yes, Tony Z likes WMT. Love it. Sarah said yes. Good morning, by the way, Sarah. Good to see you. But here, we assess the vol. Sometimes it has me go towards a like a bull call spread to mitigate it. But for the most part, I'm looking to be a buyer. I'm good to buy. I want to buy. I want to get these calls. I want to be in and out on a swing trade. But if we're going to start doing alerts we'll never do alerts on a day trade because it's just not fast enough, right? Like, there's no way to put together the alert, get it out, let it get to you. By the time it gets to you, the trade's already finished, right? That's never going to happen. I do alerts on directional spreads. I do alerts on hedge trades. And I mainly do alerts on directional trades. I, meaning we, the proverbial us. I could see where we would do some of those more advanced spreads. Because if nothing else, a person could at least paper trade it and learn it. But I'm trying to think, what else would I need to put into the alert? Maybe a link. Glenn does a good job teaching day trading. And look, there's a chance I might start to put some in. If that's where people want to go, I'm certainly comfortable day trading. I tend to day trade more when we have a high VIX. Meaning north of 25, right? Right now we're at 14. The reason being is that the VIX is a volatility indicator. The more we have in the VIX, the more we expect day-to-day movements, right? The more we would then expect day-to-day movement to be with greater amplitude, right? More ups and downs, which gives more meat on the bones for day traders. But there are day trade opportunities even in a lower volatility market. Where if you're just trying to think, hey, you know what? I like the morning action. I'm going to try to put a trade on that's on and off. I'm going to bracket it. I'm going to manage it. Yeah, let's do it. I'm in. If that's where the feedback pushes us, then we can start to integrate that. I do think it's important. When the implied volatility is high, swing trades are harder, and day trades are more viable. When implied volatility is low, day trading is harder. Swing trades are more Swing trades are more available. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions about that. The other thing, now this is the last, and then we'll get to it. I know the market's open and we'll dive in. But the last piece that I was thinking about, actually, I do want to look one more thing. Sorry. We do have minutes today, later today. Jobless claims is tomorrow. Those have been coming out. Remember, tomorrow's only a half day. New Year's Day is closed. Friday, we would expect again another light volume day. Let's just take a quick peek at the Fed. It's continuing to move against. When we first got it was 75-25. 75% thought no cut, 25 thought yes. Now it's 84-16. I think that the Fed wants to kind of watch a little bit, but the minutes may help today with that. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, let's go take a look at what we have. I would imagine anyone who was able to ride with this JCI trade has closed it hopefully over here. Decent profit. Worked out fine. Let's start with the market itself. Okay. As you look at what the market is doing right now, if you had to describe it in a single word, I'm challenging your brains today. In a single word, what would you call it? What would you say? What's your description? Pausing, Ken says. Ooh, good one. Pausing. Overpriced, John Z. Nice. I like it. Stalled. Okay. Yeah. I'm agreeing with all of that. Cautious. My word is consolidating. We're all saying the same thing. Sideways. If you look at what we have, and this is why it's like, hey, is now the right time for swing trades? If I just draw this in, what does it look like? It's a flag. It's flagging, which flagging is pausing. Flagging is stalled. Flagging is a little sideways or cautious, coming down a little. That's good exercise. I like that. If you look down here at the indicators, we started at price. Price just made new highs. And it's coming off a higher low. So from a trend, things look great still. That's why we're a 5. It's a good, solid score. It's not a phenomenally score, but it's a good, solid score. But we just hit this high, and we're sort of just pulling back, and our stochastics has just crossed into what we would consider seller's territory. Now, you'll notice we had something like that back here, too. And then it popped for just a couple of days like, oh, is it going to go? That likely would have also come with the possibility of some trades that probably didn't work out after it then finished the fall. And then it gave us our next opportunity right in here, right? To try to put something on. So, yeah, if the S&P is doing this, what's the likelihood of other stocks doing it? It's about 85%. That's the average correlation of stocks to the market. If the market's doing it, then there's a very good chance so is a lot of stocks. And that's what we're going to see as we go through and look at what's going on across our watch list. But this is why we do this, right? Because it's like, well, what do we expect today? What do we expect this week? Do we think day trading is a good idea this week? Look at yesterday's range, today's candle. Look at the Friday's candle. They are, let me zoom in on that. Just look at these teeny little candles. There's nothing here. There's no meat on these bones, right? There's nothing there for us to look to find, to do something with. Okay. Let me back out of this again. Volume is low too. Agreed. Doug is playing some silver back and forth. Love it. Good to hear. Let's go take a look at the VIX for a second. How much concern is the VIX showing? Not that much. Right? In fact, it's actually down from yesterday's. Yeah, it's actually down from yesterday's. All right. Let's see here. Now, what does this tell us? This low vol tells us that institutions are feeling pretty stable, right? Pretty confident overall in what the market looks like and in what the market is doing. And there's not much going on. Okay, great. Let's start at the top. Apple. Now, Apple just is kind of meandering. I had this here, but I didn't actually take the trade. Has anybody traded Apple? At this point, Apple feels like it's really in consolidation, meaning it's kind of come down like this. I'd like to see it break and then come back, and then we think, okay, now maybe this thing can start trending again. I don't know. It just keeps sort of faltering, you know? All right. AMKR. So AMKR is trying. It's moving a little bit. This is one that we had on for an alert. It's got to go. This was our support level, which clearly it never got back down to, and it's holding up right near the entry. This was actually our entry day here. And so technically it's a little above the entry, though time is going to erode whatever that might have benefited. But as of right now, No, right? There's nothing there. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Amazon. Amazon I like actually. So Amazon it took out the previous high barely, but it did. Right? Barely, but it did. And now it is in a flag type consolidation. So if this one were to pull back into here, trade. If it were to break out of here, possible trade. So there's two spots where we can be thinking something is developing. And we'll see what happens with that. All right. APH. You can see it's in this. I'm starting to lose patience with it, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see if this thing can pick back up a little bit. Okay. All right. AVGO. Uh, we were watching this one, had a huge move down, very small move up, still stuck under its 50. I'm a no here for now. I need to see more before this can materialize. Okay, let's keep going. I think we're going to have to do a little cleansing of our watch list too. AXP, financials. Financials have lost. You can see we're right at this critical juncture. We have old resistance here and here, new support here, and we're at it now. If that breaks through, then I'm going to have to wait and see what happens as it gets back down towards like the 50-day. And we'll see about that. BAC looks fabulous still. And right now a setup is developing. We just had a new high. We're pulling back. Anything through here looks good. I would say late this week, although with the holiday and the hours changing a little bit, that could change that just a little bit. So we'll keep our eye on this one, but I think BAC is definitely viable and something that we're looking at. Citigroup, same thing. It's a leader. Trend looks good. This is the old resistance. So we'd like to see we'd love to see it through there. That would be super helpful. Okay. Caterpillar's on a bit of a hiccup. And I would trade a hiccup. What does that mean? It means that it pulled back and it gave a signal right here. That's valid right there. And then it just sort of stalled. We've been in trades that do that before, right? We've been in trades that stall like that before. And then all of a sudden it pops. And it's almost like that becomes the second stage So as long as it does not drop below this support level here, that's not really a straight line, Scott. Let me try again. This support level. So if it were to, even meander a little lower and then all of a sudden it gives us one of these, great. I'm not going to orient around this support level anymore. I'm going to orient around this one now. And that's a new trade. Yeah, and that's a new trade. So, all right. Oh, where are we? Sienna. Overextended, needs a pullback. CLS. This is another one that I think, I'm just going to bounce it. Really stalled out up in here. Now it dropped out and it's kicking around. If it shows back up, great. Otherwise, I'm bouncing it from the list. Okay. Why can't I move this? Let's go to coherent, overextended. Nothing really there for us. Credo. A lot of these that are stalling out that we're like, but this one, we'll see. If it gives me something like this, and then from here it can pop out of it, there's possibilities. Cisco. Yeah. Cisco is if you're in it, you're still above where we were, pulling the trigger on it. Or around the same area. I'm still holding and seeing if this is gonna turn one more time. We'll see what this can do. Delta still looks bullish and viable. Representative of consumer strength. Here's the Dow today. Flat, not a lot of movement. And if anything, sellers. Fox is very strong. Just made a new high. Just waiting to see if this thing pulls back. First Solar on my list. We just made this move, got to a new high. Higher high. Pulls back. What does the selling pressure look like? We had one day where it came back down, but then it's just sort of meandered for the next 4 on low volume. Actually, that was the big volume here. The next day was kind of flat. So yeah, actually, I think First Solar is still viable. There are setups developing. As long as we can pull up out of this thing. GE, boom, there's another one. What do we see happen here? We see price make a high. We see the consolidation happening. This is the sellers. What do we know about the sellers? Well, I mean, we know that, volumes drop off because of holidays and things like that, but we know that there's not a lot of selling pressure right now. Gold. Okay, so gold did try to come back after yesterday's gap down, and it's gotten a little bit back, but it's not rallying through this right now. General Motors overextended flat. We're looking to see if that's going to consolidate back down to give a trade opportunity. Google has tried. I think there's a few people that took this trade. I took this trade. It was not an alert trade, but I took it. And it moved, and then it's now stalling. Sideways. Cautious. Pausing, right? All these things that we've been... Those adjectives can be applied to a lot of different stocks. That's the correlation that we're talking about. So as much as we're soliciting your feedback to help give us ways that can help you with live trading, I'm in this market at this period of time, I am not going to force trades. Don't force trades. But I'm staying with this one. If you're in it, let me know what you're doing with that. Goldman. So you can see Goldman had a turn, and it got to the old resistance, coming down. Even if it took this low out, as long as it stayed above the 50, I'd still trade whatever comes out of this. This little hiccup right here is fine to me. I know people are like, oh, but it took out the prior low. I'm okay with one instance of getting lower than one low as long as it's still above the 50. Okay. Howmet looks great. GE looks great. Howmet looks great. What are we seeing? Industrials. Certainly a high momentum sector. We like to see that for our sector rotation. We like to see that with these stocks that we're watching. So yeah, keeping an eye on that. In its flag pattern. IBM. I don't know. IBM's really kind of been just, it's chopping around. It's in this great big kind of a triangle pattern I'm noticing now. I think I'd rather wait and see which way this thing breaks before deciding I'm going to make a trade on it. Intel. Okay, Intel. Come on now. We held support. And we're back where we were. So this was our entry day here. And it gapped up the next day and then sold off, and then it just sort of tested, and now it looks like it's trying. Momentum looks good down here. Let's see if this thing, even if it only gets back up to 40, we should still be able to pick a little something up out of it. But let's keep an eye on this one and see what's going on. BK. I actually looked at a setup on BK, and then I ran into... So I actually looked at a setup. Let me see where it was. I can show you. Here. On the 19th. Boom, boom. This is from... oops. It was actually supposed to say BK. No, wait a second. This was something else, actually. Don't save. Oh, I thought I had... Oh, maybe I didn't save it when I actually closed it out. I started to build it, right here. And it did move for 3 days, and then it's kind of stalling out. It would still be probably a little profitable. The problem was the earnings. Not the earnings. The problem was the liquidity. The spreads, the open interest and volume were just not conducive. Just not conducive, unfortunately. So if you're trading options, be very careful with BK, is my advice, because what I found was not great. Not great. Okay. Where were we? Intel IWM. Flat, kind of in a pause. JCI, overextended. Again, if you held this one, it's still a pretty decent profit, but you're running out of time. It's overextended. Didn't quite get all the way back up, but it did pretty good. J&J. J&J closed yesterday. Don, nice work. J&J, we did see a setup on, and same thing. I'm actually looking to bounce it from my list because it is not liquid enough. The options just didn't hold up. And that's concerning. So I'm actually probably going to bounce this from my list at this point, because if I'm not going to trade it when I got this, I go, now, if you did trade it, it's in a hiccup. It's not wrong, right? It's not wrong. It just hasn't gone right yet. and hopefully the options are holding up. Okay. Yeah, I am going to bounce it. Clean it out a little bit. Lumentum pulling back, possibly. Possibly another trade coming our way out of this one. Okay. Eli Lilly overextended, looking for maybe a consolidation here. Okay. Lam Research. I think Lam Research is maybe moving into something. There's a lot of these that have hit some resistance, pulling back, and are now potentially getting into, setup mode. Definitely looks like it could be setup mode. Macy's sliding in. We just had a new high. The sellers have had the floor for a little while, but they've really only pushed it. They've really only pushed it from 24 to 22. That's $2. That's 10%. That's a reasonable consolidation for a bullish stock. Okay. MasterCard. I don't know. MasterCard could be working something here. I think it could be possible. Let's keep our eye on that. Meta had a quick turnaround. Meta was sort of meandering, and then, oof, look at that. Right? Okay. In Meta. Oh, I'm glad you stayed with it to catch today and didn't end up losing a little patience. It would have been easy to. Definitely would have been easy to. Morgan. That was one I had and closed yesterday for a small gain. It did some work. But now it's like, okay, let's see if the next setup is the one. If it wasn't that one to make the big move, let's see if the next one is the one to make the big move. Okay. Microsoft flat. Micron overextended. Netflix down and flat. Nvidia, maybe. I like Nvidia's breakout. Now I'm looking to see if it's going to pull back, give us something on a pullback. So I think that there's some potential in industrials. I think there's some potential in financials. I think there's some potential in technology. So we it's across the board. We have some good stuff. Next, sideways. I'm getting rid of it. It's just been going sideways for now a month and a half. No reason to keep watching that. Let's go to Palantir. Palantir setting up. Palantir is an old favorite of ours. Right? Palantir is definitely an old favorite. We like it. Okay. QQQ. Looks fine. The real. I think I would still take this again. If we have a consolidation down, I think I would take that one again. Rocket Lab could be. Let's keep our eye on this. We had a great trade on Rocket Lab. Now we have this little bit of consolidation here. Yeah, so let's see if that leads to the next trade on Rocket Lab. Would love to see that. Roku. Sideways. Ross Stores. Maybe a trade coming. You can see the stochastics cross, but we really haven't been convinced that the buyers have come back into that one. We need both. We need both the price and the indicator, right? It's got to be both. RTX. And this is an actual defense, not defensive, but defense stock. Looks like there could be some momentum there for us to trade. I'd consider that industrials. Silver. So there we go. We got down, got back up. This thing is definitely chopping around up here right now. Be careful out there. SanDisk. I like it. We broke out of this new high. Now it's in a pullback. There's a nice little area for it to give me a higher low and move back into these digital storage. SPY, we're just kind of flat today. Not much range today. If you're day trading, popped up right back down, and it's right where we started. So not a lot to sink your teeth into. STX, viable. Teradyne, maybe. TJX still looks good overall. If you're, I don't trade Tesla because I've had just weird experiences with it, and I'm, whatever. But I know a lot of people like to. It just made a higher high. Now it's pulling back to a higher low. If you like the look of it, it's setting up in there. TSM overextended. Here's today's VIX. Not a lot of fear in this market right now. So it's when I see consolidations unaccompanied by fear, I think entries are coming my way. WBD, I'm telling you, if you're gonna want to trade something in the network, go to Foxa, Foxa. Warner Brothers is just kind of like, it's got news and it's got hostile takeover fights, whatever. We caught such an amazing piece of that on our initial trade, and now it's just kind of chopping around a little bit, so be careful there. WDC sideways. Walmart today, it was there earlier. And then it's pulled back a little bit. Again, it's just getting started. So if you missed earlier, you could pull the trigger and get it a little cheaper. So there you go. Okay. Any questions on that one? Let me know. You have homework. Be thinking about, if there was additional trading, where would you like to see it? What style, what type that we could do, that we could think about and talk about during our morning hours. We're going to be shifting from 15 before market to starting right at market and going for the first hour every day. Whether that's additional day trading, whether that's some momentum trading, which is not quite swing trading. So maybe some continuation style. Spreads is another one. Yes, John, thank you. BWBs, broken wing butterflies. I love broken wing butterflies, if that's what you were going for. I like butterflies, and I like putting a little bit of a directional orientation on them by breaking a wing. Nothing wrong with that request. Okay. So what do you do with that homework? Go into Circle and send me a direct message, and I'll message you back to thank you for it. Or maybe I'll even put a post into the trading chat that's just like, hey everyone, put it here. So that we can incorporate what exactly it is that you want. And if you're listening to the recording, just as valid, because I know we have a lot of people who can't really make the live. They watch the recordings. Give me your feedback as well. That would be super helpful. So, okay. I expect to hear from at least 5 of you today. 5 people that go in, give me a little, hello, Scott. Here's the answers you're looking for. The rest of this week, we are meeting tonight, and Glenn will start. I'll do the second piece. We are meeting tomorrow morning, but tomorrow is I guess I keep saying this. I swear I looked it up. I'm 90% sure that tomorrow is a half day, closing at 1 p.m. If anyone wants to go take a quick peek and verify that for me. Thursday's closed, so no Thursday morning, no Thursday evening. Enjoy your New Year's. And Friday will be normal. Glenn will be in the morning, I'll be in the afternoon. What do I think the Chinese export restrictions will do to the market on silver? Export restrictions lower supply. And if demand stays where it is, which a lot of people think demand is only going to increase, right? Industrial uses for electric cars, for solar panels, for chips used in AI processing. If demand is up and supply is down, that's going to keep price pressures there. Not quite the same as when they changed margin requirements, which could create in to some extent did create a little bit of selling pressure because of the increased cash requirements to hold a position. That was minor and didn't do much. That could have quite a pressure on the price for sure. Okay, it's good to see everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys either tonight or tomorrow morning. If neither of those, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in 2026. As always, happy trading.